Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, today is just going to be a brief reflection, like how has 2021 been so far. Tomorrow is my mom's birthday, 24 December, so I got a friend make a mini cake, by the way. So this is a little cake I'm going to give her for her birthday in the morning. She's like, "Hey mommy, happy birthday, happy birthday." She'll be so excited. Okay, so in today's video, basically I just want to do a brief reflection. This is my journal. I actually write everything I study and some other stuff. Yeah, so I want to actually ask myself how the year has been and my takeaways from the year. So I'm going to name this video how has 2021 been so far. My top reflections. How has 2021 been so far? Okay, so let me start with relationships. On the issue of relationships, I've actually realized that some friends basically are for certain seasons in our lives. Like, you may have had a friend for 15 years, 14 years, 10 years, 8 years, as the case may be. And at this phase of your life, basically, you can't have that friend anymore. Like, it's just basically time to move on. You've gained all you have to gain from your friend, and your friend has gained all what they had to gain from you too. Like, both of you have actually mutually gained, and I think now it's time for a pause. If there's anything like that, I don't know how that sounds to some people, but if that gives you any sort of mental freedom, clarity in future, like, I just think you should just take this. Some friends are meant for some seasons, and that's the first stuff I'm going to dwell on. Some friends are meant for some seasons. Are meant for some seasons. This is the first takeaway on relationships that I've had this year. Secondly, the aspect of self-improvement. We should be learning machines. Like, for real, we should actually sit our asses down and read. There's a word called assiduity. I got it from Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger's book. What's the name of this book? Poor Charlie's Almanack. I've been reading this book for some years now. The practice says that we should actually basically sit our asses down and read for hours or brainstorm over something. Now, a lot of us we like the quick way. We like going through Instagram and looking at motivational quotes, or going through an article on Bloomberg, or going through a Forbes article, or going through Entrepreneur magazine. Basically, all these entrepreneurship articles and magazines online. One thing I've realized is that all this stuff are actually short-term stories. They tell you the event, like the later aspect of how so and so person became successful. They don't tell you like the 10 years grind. They don't tell you the losses along the way. They don't tell you the sleepless night. They don't tell you the depression. Okay? You don't get to hear this at all in the media. What you basically hear is the end story, the 10th year of the success. So second, leave the short stories and go studying autobiographies. Leave the short stories and go study autobiographies. Now, autobiographies. Now, over the years, I've actually sat down to read so many books. I've read books on psychology, I've read philosophy books, I've read autobiographies, I've read business books, I've read poetry, I've read documentary, I've watched and read documentaries, I've read historical books, I've read some scientific books. Some I'll mention. Okay, on autobiographies, I've read Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. I've read Richard Branson's Losing My Virginity. On poems, I've read Rupi Kaur's Milk and Honey, and I've read Rupi Kaur's The Sun on Her Flowers. On business books, I've read Tribe, We Want to Lead Us, Seth Godin. On entrepreneurship books, I've read Poor Charlie's Almanack by Charlie Munger. On philosophy, I've read so many. I've read Nietzsche, Stoicism, book Zarathustra. I've read Sigmund Freud's Civilization and its Discontents. On history, I've read The Destruction of the Black Civilization by Chancellor. And basically, what's my take from all these? In the end, we are actually trying to find ourselves. There's no actually. That's why we read. That's why we study. That's why we go on events. That's why we go for seminars. We actually trying to find ourselves. So the third takeaway I'm going to write here. Take a journey. Okay, towards finding yourself. There's a short quote I have in my phone. I can't remember where that would be. But basically, it was I got it from an Erika Lutz's movie. And she was like, a book, a poem, a movie, a short takeaway changed the course of their life. Like this year, how many books have you read? Up to this year, I've read about, let's say, 40 to 50 books. I don't finish all of them. Not to paint the funny image. Like actually, read a book complete beginning to end. I actually miss out reading all, like from beginning to end. There's so many I miss out. Probably the end pages. I get the table of contents first of all and get what I want, and from there, good. Now, there are probably like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in a book that actually helps us, in our current stage in life where we're currently at. Currently, I'm a student. I'm a computer engineering student at Ilias State University. Now, what you just need to do in books is go to the table of contents and pick out the parts that you need in your life at that particular point in time. Now, reading so many books and talking to people way older than you, where you may likely want to be, it's really the shortest cut to whatever you want to achieve. Because to me, I believe success basically is achieving what you want to achieve at a certain time. Now, okay, an example is this: a woman that wants to have a happy home, build a house, have a nice family, have a good husband and a moving home, and she eventually gets that, and she's doing that with all her heart, is successful. Like we shouldn't complicate the meaning of success. Now, I just got towards this. I got to this topic because I'm talking about take a journey to finding yourself. You can find yourself through like deep meditation, like serious questioning. Okay, you can find yourself through a book. You can find yourself through talking to someone 50 years ahead of you in that field already. You can actually see a roadmap of the routes you want to take. Now, these are not ultimate answers. There are lots of ways to finding oneself. But then the thing is this: don't get lost in the crowd. Okay. Just basically, you should actually listen to yourself a lot of the time. There's a voice in your head when you were so little that guides you. Don't let the current crowd, social media or your friends or whatever, keep giving you advice on what they don't know anything about, what they have no success in, their opinions that didn't work for them. Okay, follow in whatever form of success model you want to follow. I believe we should actually follow the average mean. How has top 500 wealthy people, for example, just using money, how have they achieved such huge net worths? Then in fitness, how has the most healthy people, Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these fitness guys we look up to, they win Mr. Olympia and all these huge roles that basically they win all these huge awards. How did they get there? Take the mean, okay? Let's forget the short articles. So that's a journey to finding yourself. Now, fourthly, I'd like to talk about this interesting topic on investing. Investing is a mental stuff. It's a mental stuff now. Like if you have a YouTube channel and you get a tripod and you get a ring light and you get a camera and you get a microphone and you get a nice background, that's an investment in your craft, in your skill, in what you're currently doing. Simple. Let's not complicate it. Now, there are a lot of researchers that have found that why young people cannot easily invest money, why we prefer wasting money and squandering money on like now, on the now. I believe in the now. An experiment where some scientists actually had to put some humans, young humans, in a mode like a VR example now. And in this VR, you're seeing your older self. And it gives you a perspective of how you look in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And now, you can actually plan ahead. Like you're seeing your older self, although you're not seeing the experiences that person has to go through, what the experiences that person would go through, okay? But there's a picture that's being painted in your head that in 20 years, in 30 years, I'll look like this. I'll be weaker than I actually am. And now, what do I need to do? I need to invest in myself. How do you invest in yourself? One, when you're young, there are just three pillars you should focus on and block the rest. Your health. You should eat good food and you should go to the gym. Probably I'll focus on videos where I work out, like just try to maintain my body, because when I'm 80 years old, I can't work out again. Okay, the muscles that I built over the years, just going to take care of me then. Health. Now, wealth. When you're making money, actually invest in things that you like and things that are long lasting, that can stand the test of time. There's so many investment opportunities. There's so many fast money opportunities that you should actually block that away from your mind as a young person. Whatever form of income, whatever form of investment that's promising you times 2, times 3 in a short term, in 1 year, in 6 months, in 8 months, just forget that. Yeah, you can actually make money off that in the short term. You're going to lose it faster, yes, because there's a lot of mental stuff that goes into saving and investing money. Because number one, the thing is this: if I make 20k, let me use naira. Okay, let me say I make 20,000 naira per day. Okay, probably my income is 20,000. My expenses could be 15k or 10,000 naira on average in a day. Basically, why I keep up with that kind of lifestyle, because I earn something that can actually be lived on. Now, there's one thing I've noticed: spending money is actually a habit. It's it's embedded in our psychology there. As much as we earn, so we should spend. I don't know how to put this. I don't know the best way to put this, but basically, as much as we earn, we spend. Now, why I'm talking about this is because of investment. There are lots of apps these days that you can basically save. At least try and save at least 30% of your income weekly. That's just a good rule of thumb. Create an automatic savings where there's so many apps you can use these days, Cowrywise, Piggyverse, etc. There's so many that just deducts 30% of your income. Do the math. Every week, 30% of your income should be withdrawn, probably for 2 years or 3 years. And in the third year, you can probably buy a land, or you can probably buy the new camera you wanted. Just something that's going to help you long term to reap much more dividends, basically. That's for wealth. This third aspect you have to invest in heavily is love. So I've talked about health, that's workout and all that stuff. I've talked about wealth, that's investing, you have to have a skill and all that. It's so broad, but let me just leave it at this. Now, love. This topic can be so tricky. Whenever everyone says love, you're just thinking of a girlfriend, a wife, a partner, and all this stuff. Yeah. So basically, when one is talking about love, we keep thinking like a girlfriend, husband, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Now, okay, this is just one aspect. Probably I'll just read that under romantic relationships. Okay. Now, when you actually hear love, like investing in your relationships, now don't forget there's something called reciprocal altruism. Okay. Now, altruism or being altruistic is basically a form of giving that really doesn't expect much or anything in return. I think that's the easiest way to define this. Well, let me just get the dictionary definition. So, I'll be very, 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 very exact and accurate. So, according to my dictionary, altruism is basically regard for others both natural and moral, without regard for oneself, devotion to the interests of others. I gave the biological definition, which is action or behavior that benefits another or others at some cost to the performer. Um we have parasitism, symbiosis, and all that stuff. Now, this type of relationship, I can't remember the exact term, but let's just leave it at altruism. Now, just some persons that we have some form of altruistic relationship with, like our family, our siblings, that's if under family, our old-time friends. Let's say people that like we went to the same secondary school with or primary school with, and like they need some help, and basically you can render some help to them without expecting anything in return. Okay, now why do we actually do all this stuff? It's one thing I've noticed. I started earlier when I was talking about finding yourself and spending time with people way ahead of you. Now, this I'm still talking in love. When you actually spend time with people below you and help them, it helps you below you in the socioeconomic ladder. Okay, it helps you actually have some perspective on how actually the world is. It gives you some sort of confidence. It makes you happy within. Makes you feel happy within yourself. Like, I'm actually helping this guy out because I'm actually in a better place, in a better position. I think that's just the best way to define it. Now, we should actually invest in such relationships when we can, because they make us feel good within ourselves. Now, apart from this, being a good person is very, 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 very it's a broad word, really, really, really broad. Like being a good person, because we have to actually have principles. You have to live by principles. You have to have boundaries. Okay, you have to have some sort of no. On this subject, on this issue of love and relationships, let's say a friend invites you to an event that you don't want to go, and then because you're trying to please your friend, you accept. When you're at that event, you're not happy. Okay, you don't want to go home. You're thinking of one thing you can do. You're just sitting around. You're already disposing like negative energy towards yourself and probably towards others around you. Your friend won't feel good because you're not active. Like you're just there and you're dormant. Like you're not participating. So like everyone loses. Both parties lose. You lose. Your friend loses. Like your energy loses. Like learn to say no. Learn to say no. Like not maybe, not probably, not I'll think about it. Learn to say no. Like especially to your friends. When they ask you of things that you actually cannot do or you don't want to be part of, say no. Like let your no be loud and clear. Like N-O. No. You can see how clear this is. Say no. Now, why I'm talking about this is basically because we keep trying to please our friends at our own discomfort, at our own disservice, and in the end, both parties lose because you might end up losing their friend. That's just one angle. The other part of these relationships I'm talking about now is relationship with families. Now you can see I got a cake for my mom on her birthday. For her birthday that's coming up tomorrow. Why? Actually, why? Now, on my birthday, my mom gave me some cash as a gift. That's part of it. She has been doing some nice things for me. You can see there basically relationships are actually meant to be symbiotic. Like you give me, I give you. Whenever you notice some form of imbalance in your relationship where you're the bigger giver, and this person is not providing any form of moral encouragement or helping you out in any academic field or helping you out like through your downtimes or whatever, you should limit the time you spend with that party, because actually it's over time it depletes your mental sanity or your mental sanity bank towards that person. It creates some sort of resentment. Like I'm actually giving, much more than I am taking. In nature, like naturally, it's bound to affect you. Like when I'm giving much more than I'm receiving, there's meant to be a balance. There's meant to be a balance. Now, I'm still on this love and relationship subject. Now, the aspect of family too, like try and live your have like create a form of relationship with your family where everyone is at peace, like a form of balance, a form of equilibrium. Like you give and you take, you give and you take. There shouldn't be a giver and then a taker. It should be something like this, okay? If that's clear enough. Now, this is the aspect of love. Now, health, wealth, and love all combine to give what? Happiness. When you're healthy, when you visit the gym, when you eat good food, when you take walks, when you have prioritize your daily activities, when you prioritize yourself, when in the morning, when you wake up, you meditate for like 30 minutes, or you do yoga. There's a lady I follow on YouTube. Her name is Adrian. Basically, I've been following her for years and I've been doing her yogas. She has some 30-day yoga and all that stuff. When you prioritize your mental health, your space, you are actually much more happy. You're actually much more balanced. You're actually much more agile to go through the day. When you prioritize your bank accounts, when you prioritize your finances, when you prioritize your skill, you're much more balanced. When you prioritize your relationships, your love life, your relationship with your family, you are much more balanced. All these lead to happiness. Now, happiness is not like an overnight stuff. It takes a whole lot of cognitive biases. Basically, there are over like 12 cognitive biases. You have just too many. I can't remember some to give some examples now. I think reciprocity is among the cognitive biases. Now, whenever we actually do anything that contributes to our health, to our wealth, to our love, we are contributing to our happiness factor. Okay? We are contributing to the happiness factor. This happiness is more like the weighing scale, or like the pyramid's base, where everything rests on. Okay? Where the health, the wealth, the love, and everything rests on this happiness scale. And at any point, this scale can be alterated. And we should just focus on keeping a balance. Okay? We should focus on just making everything in our life balanced to a certain extent. Now, this is on investing. I've talked about friends being there, like in particular seasons. I've talked about studying autobiographies and forgetting short stories on Bloomberg and Forbes and Entrepreneur Magazine and all these articles online. I've talked about taking a journey towards finding yourself. I've talked about investing in our health, our wealth, our love, and happiness. Finally, there's one more topic I'm going to leave us with, and actually that is clarity / flow. Now, why I actually pick this is because most of us are doing things that we hate to make money. Things that don't help us grow. Okay? We are doing things that we detest, that we are actually struggling to do, that when we wake up from sleep in the morning, we are actually fighting with ourselves within. Man, how will I actually get up from here and go to work? I think life is actually meant to be lived in an explorable fashion. I think we shouldn't sacrifice our happiness at every point, okay, for money. Yeah, there's sometimes in life that you actually have little options. That is actually almost the only alternative. That's actually the only way to do something you're currently not enjoying for the sake of doing something you enjoy later in the future. And basically, we call that it's a form of investment, but actually, it's just like investing in your future self. But then, when you do something that you're not enjoying for long, prolonged periods, just for the cash, like inside our soul, we feel so empty. And we can never ever get to that flow state. Flow, FLOW, flow. A flow state is basically, okay, it's a state. This is flow. It's a state where our mind and body are in sync. Flow. Let me check in the dictionary if I'm going to see what flow state means. You usually hear this word when it comes to academic stuff, or yoga or meditation or all that stuff. But then let me check my dictionary if I'm going to see. Okay, basically, flow here is smoothness or continuity. In psychology, it's called is a mental state characterized by concentration, focus, and enjoyment of a given task. Now, I didn't realize that in anything one wants to do in life, like, we actually have to enjoy it. Okay, we actually have to get to this flow state. Now, if you are actually suffering and struggling in doing something, and you actually not enjoying that stuff, and you're not curious about it, you're not even curious to, like, to go through that pain, like, the motivation isn't enough, like, you're not really interested in that field. Probably you're just doing it for the money or for the social status or whatever. In the long run, you actually feel in reality or in your soul. Like, when I mean you feel in your soul, I mean you feel so empty, like you feel you've wasted your time. Like, why did I actually do this? Why did I actually do what I'm not enjoying for material gain? I think it's better if you're actually earning lesser amount. Let's say an example, you have an option to earning 500,000 naira versus 1 million naira monthly. And in the 500,000 naira job, you actually enjoy everything you do there. You like the people you meet, you like the tasks they give you, it helps you grow, it helps you expand your knowledge, you're learning new stuff. The 500 and the 1 million naira job, you're not happy with the people you're seeing, you're not happy with your boss, you don't like your colleagues and all that stuff. Like, you're just doing it for the money, you don't enjoy the job. I think you should go for the 500,000 naira job, because to help you grow mentally. And over time, there are lots of ways you can scale up your income. But basically, in the long run, the 500,000 naira job would be so profitable to your soul, to your mental health, to your sanity. It helps you get in the flow state. It gives you clarity. It helps you actually to, get forward in life. And when I mean get forward in life, I mean basically you are getting clearer, you are getting closer towards clarity. Now, this is on clarity/flow. Clarity/flow leads to a calm state. Now, a lot of people are not at peace. A lot of people are not balanced. I've been reading a lot of Eckhart Tolle's books and going through some of his meditation programs on YouTube for some time, for like almost 2 years now. The first book of his I read was A New Earth, and the second I read was The Power of Now. Basically, Mr. Tolle says life is in the now. Okay, life is in the now. This is a very simple but complex word. Many of us don't understand this. Like, we actually never understand that there's really no bigger goal we can set, because at whatever point we achieve anything, next question we get is, what's next? We are not even left to enjoy the current achievement. We are really being asked, so what's next? We're not like thinking about enjoying the moment. Okay, you meet some of your friends in a bar or in a restaurant or at a party or whatever, at the dinner party or whatever, a meet and greet, and they're all on their phones, they're all pressing their phones, like they're all chatting. Why did you have to come from your house to a dinner just to use your phone while you could do that at home? Why are you not in the moment? This is one thing that lots of young people are battling with these days, not realizing that we are actually living in the moment. We should actually be living in the moment. Life is in the now. Tomorrow's worries basically will most likely take care of themselves if you allow life to move at its course, like without trying to force anything. Like living long enough will actually make you much more stoic. Let me use that word, because mainly you mainly hear this stuff among stoics, people that have actually devoted their lives to thinking in some sort of philosophy. Now, basically, I'm just going to get the dictionary meaning of Stoicism. So it's going to be simple and clear. And according to my dictionary, Stoicism is a real or pretended indifference to pleasure or pain, impassiveness, insensibility. Like when things are going good, you're okay. When things are not going good, you're still okay. Why did I bring about this topic in number 5 when I'm talking clarity slash flow? Basically, we can't have clarity, okay, if we are not in a balanced state. If the things we are working towards to go well, good. The things we are working towards to don't go well, good. Life is saying hello to the next thing. Like, this is a very, 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 very tough mindset to get to. Like, it's a very, very, very tough. It takes a lot of time, patience, years. It takes a lot of muscles to build up, because confidence, getting the flow state, clarity, and all that stuff. These are just like our muscles, okay? These are just like muscles. You have to constantly build them. You have to constantly work them out before we can actually get to that stage where we are actually undisturbed, not stressed by future events. We're actually living in the moment. Now, I'm going to actually end this video with this. Let us live in the moment. Let us appreciate the little things we have. Let us enjoy our current achievements, okay, while working towards enjoying much more future achievements. Like, let us enjoy the moment. This is going to be one of the last video series for this year on my channel, and I'm going to release small videos in future, basically on this stoicism and philosophy, because I've really actually realized that most of us are floating, okay? Most of us are just like absorbing social media, where everyone is telling you to be yourself, to be your best self, to be this, to be that, to make yourself happy, without actually having core philosophies, core principles that guide our life. This actually makes sense. Like, people are just saying what we don't understand. Like, it's not actually made flesh in our body. You just talk, but we don't really get this to a deeper extent. We don't actually understand this like to a broad extent, which actually we need to, if you actually want to live a very, very, very peaceful and a progressive life. Like, we need to. Okay, so that'll be the end of this video, and I'm going to drop some more tips on this according to what I study and what I practice. Thank you.